Jai Saraswati Devi Gauravan Charini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatanya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Second canto, second chapter, verse 37. Pibante ye Bhagavata Atmana Satam Katamritam Shravana Bhuteshu Sambritam Punantite Vishaya Vidusita Sayam Vrajanchitakcharana Saroruhantikam. Can someone recite, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mother.
Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam.
Pibanti ye Bhagavata Atmana Satam
Kadamritam shravana puteshu samritam.
Katamritam
Shravana Bhuteshu Samritam
Punanti te vishaya vidushita
Punanti
Te Vishaya Vidushita Sayam
Rajanti tacharana saroruhantikam.
Vrajanti Chakcharana Saroruhantikam.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Someone else, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Pibanti ye Bhagavata Atmana Satam
Pibanti ye
Bhagavata atmana satam.
Katamrutam Shravana Bhuteshu Samritam
Katamritam shravana puteshu samritam.
Punanti Te Vishaya Vidushita Sayam
Punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam.
Vrajanti Tacharana Saroruhantikam
Rajanti tacharana saroruhantikam.
Thank you. Krishna. Translation. Those who drink through oral reception, fully filled with the nectarian message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment, and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. So this is the last words of this canto. Here in this verse, Shukadeva Goswami is answering the question of Parshit Maharaj, which is at the end of the first canto. He says, what is the highest perfection of stage and what is the highest sadhana to attain that? So this is the highest perfection of stage. What is the highest perfection of stage is to drink the pastimes of Lord Krishna through oral reception. Pibata Bhagavata, Pibanti Bhagavata. To relish Krishna Katha is the highest perfectional stage. If you see all the pure devotees, all the one who are liberated, who are in the spiritual sky, they are all relishing this Katha. Every activity of Krishna, they are relishing it. There is no moment that they cannot forget Krishna. In fact, they try hard. Even if they try hard to forget Krishna, they cannot forget Krishna. On the other hand, for us here, it's very easy to forget Krishna. So, because they have attained the highest perfectional stage of life. So, the one who drinks Krishna Katha through their ears, they they purify the polluted aim of life, known as material enjoyment. So what is material enjoyment? Material enjoyment is nothing but Jiva, when is with this body, with this material body, he tries to get some enjoyment, because living entities are by nature ananda bhyasat. The nature of living entity is to seek ananda, to seek happiness. So the conditioned soul, what they have is the material body. So they want to seek enjoyment using the material body and senses. But unfortunately, the conditioned soul, the Atma, doesn't know that it causes further bondage by trying to exploit the material energy. So the more the soul Atma engages in the material sense gratification, the more it gets trapped, entangled in it, and it's very difficult for it to come out. Since that is what it has, which is material body, it tries to enjoy very limited enjoyment. But initially it's like a Gita, in Gita Krishna says, initially it's like a nectar, but later it's like a poison. So anybody who's trying to have material sense gratification, it feels like nectar, but later it's a poison. Like, for example, someone has gulab jamun, but it feels so tasty initially. But if you're young, you can digest, that's good. But for people who are old and who are diabetic, it becomes poison once it goes into the body. The sugar level will be uncontrolled. So what is nectar in the beginning is actually poison later. That is what the material enjoyment is. On contrary, spiritual enjoyment is initially it is very difficult. It feels like poison, but later it's nectarian. Initially it's so hard. Why? Because we are conditioned. That's why it feels so hard, but it's not. But once we get the taste, the ruchi, the stage of ruchi, nishta ruchi, then it becomes very nectarian, and it becomes amritam actually. Amritam. The Krishna Katha becomes amrita. So before stage of ruchi, it's like a medicine, but from the stage of ruchi onwards, it's like a amrita, it's nectar. So that is the beauty of Krishna Katha. And so in this way, Prabhupada explains in the purport that human beings in the conditioned state, they try to exploit the material nature only for the four purpose, like eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. How to eat properly, enjoy properly, eating, how to sleep properly, very sophisticated, how to mate, so very sophisticated, how to defend. So the whole cycle of the material life rotates around these four things. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam cha. It's mentioned in our scriptures. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam cha. If you see any activity, it falls under one of these categories. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam cha. Bhaya, maitunam. Bhaya and maitunam. Okay. So one who actually is said to be liberated if he becomes free from all these four things, who doesn't really work hard for these four things, they become actually free and peaceful. And the one who takes shelter of Krishna, who takes shelter of Bhagavata, they become free of this four material goals. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam. And they become free actually. That's a real freedom actually. We want independence, right? We celebrate Independence Day, we want freedom, we want to be free. But the day you become free from temptation of eating lavish food, or oversleeping, sleeping more than required, body requires, or mating, or defending, try to defend, try to destroy enemies, or try to be strong, just so it can destroy. So the moment we become free, that the moment we become we reject all these things, we actually become peaceful and very happy actually within. Become very happy. We are not a slave of anything. So that happens only by taking shelter of Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means it includes Krishna's Naam, Rupa, Guna, Leela, his Parikar, his Parshad, his Dham, his holy place. So all these 6 items, if we take shelter, if we do Sankirtan of these 6 items of Krishna, then we will actually eventually be free from Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maitunam. Actually will become free. In fact, when we eat moderately, we will be able to do proper bhajan actually. If you notice, if we tend to overeat and all, our sadhana will become very sluggish. But if we control our eating and sleeping, then our sadhana becomes very nice. And not only that, other activities in the day-to-day life also becomes very easier. So, and because of this, conditioned soul is always behind this material enjoyment. He exploits other. Just for this ahara, nidra, bhayam, maitunam, he exploits other resources. In Ishopanidis, Krishna says, he said that it's mentioned that Isha Vasham Idam Sarvam, everybody has quota, but what people do because of greed, material greed, they try to steal from others, or they take it forcefully from others for their own material enjoyment. What happens is, because of this exploitation, some other place there will be a shortage of things, like shortage of food, or shortage of any resources. If one person takes from other person more than his quota, then the other person will not have that sufficiently, so he will suffer. Like there's one example where during Britishers' time in India, they have taken entire rice, food grains from India and shipped to England. And there was a depression, and that time many people died of hunger in India. India was a top producer of the food grains, but ironically, millions of people died because of hunger. It happened in the eastern part of India, pretty much everywhere, but mostly eastern part of India is affected, like Bihar and Bengal, Orissa area. People died. You can just Google it. So what happens is the greed of one person is causing suffering to the other living beings. But if these greedy people, if they become spiritual, this thing would have not happened actually. Those people would not have suffered so much because of hunger. So that is a message of Shukadev Goswami, so the message of Vyasadevan, this message of Srila Prabhupada, that everybody take shelter of Bhagavatam and become spiritual and attain the stage of simple living and high thinking, plain living and high thinking, not getting too much exploitation of any material resources, but take what is required to maintain the body and engage more time in Krishna consciousness, like reading Krishna, books about Krishna, and chanting, or going to pilgrimage, going to temple, and make it enjoyable, so that it doesn't become monotonous for you, because Krishna says in 11th canto that Krishna consciousness should be like a festival every day. So there should be variety. It should be like a festival. If you go to Vrindavan and Mayapur, it feels like every day it's a festival happening there, in temples there, all over the town, in Navadvip or Vrindavan. If you go out in the evening, it feels like it's festival going on every day. It's not like any particular day. Every day it feels like that, and so joyful. With that, we get so much energy. We get so much inspired, and our sadhana will also be very much nourished by all these activities. So in this way, we have to seek spiritual enjoyment, not the material enjoyment. We should reject material enjoyment because it causes more and more bondage. Whereas spiritual enjoyment, it actually gives us freedom and independence from so many defects of material nature. Okay? And the people who take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Krishna Katha, they purify this aim of their life. So the aim of life changes. It's not just ahara nidra bhaya maitunam. The aim of life becomes getting liberated, attaining the lotus feet of Krishna, and once you attain lotus feet of Krishna, serve him with love and devotion. That is the aim of life. So in this way, when the soul leaves the body, it attains a place in the abode of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan, and personally serve Krishna eternally, where there is no defects of hunger, thirst, all those things, and death, and illness, all those things. So in this way, we have to take shelter of Bhagavatam, Krishna Katha. So when we are doing sadhana, initially Krishna Katha acts as medicine, but once we reach the stage of Nishtha and Ruchi, it acts as nectar, Amritam. It becomes, Krishna Katha is initially Aushadam, later it becomes Amritam. But it is the same thing. The process is, and the goal is the same. Okay. So this is the answer to Parshit Maharaj's question at the end of the first canto. This is the highest perfectional stage. The highest perfectional stage is like when you hear Krishna Katha, you relish it. You just become enthused. You become so happy, so joyful just to hear about Krishna. It's like in Vrindavan, the residents of Vrindavan, Brajvasis, the whole day they discuss about Krishna. They are working at the same time they're talking about Krishna. Krishna did this, Krishna did that, Krishna said this, Krishna said that, and Krishna went here, he did something, he killed so many demons, how he killed Agasur, and how he killed Putana. So they discuss whole time, they discuss what Krishna did, what he likes to eat, how he takes care of his cows, what is his favorite cow. So the whole day they discuss Krishna Katha, and they hear about Krishna and they get more and more joy. In fact, in spiritual world, the Krishna Katha is like a heartbeat of the spiritual body. So spiritual body, so he has a spiritual body, and Krishna Katha, anything about Krishna is like a heartbeat. It's like a life of the spiritual body. The spiritual body, that it exists because of the heartbeat of Krishna Katha. So that is the life of the pure devotees in Vrindavan. But for us here, Srimad Bhagavatam acts as a medicine. It clears all our conception. It removes all our doubts about this life. It gives us purpose. It fine tunes our aim in our life, and also it takes us to better destination, in future, next birth after birth. So we always take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. We pray that birth after birth, we always continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam and taste the nectar of Krishna Katha. But this is the perfectional stage. The sadhana and sadhya is same. The sadhana is you hear about Krishna, keep on hearing about, and sadhya is also you continue hearing about Krishna. Okay, so that is in sadhana you do with the sadhaka body, and sadhya you do the same thing with your siddha body, spiritual body. So the process and the goal is the same. It cannot be different actually, because that's what Krishna, the process and goal, if it's different, that means the cause and effect is different. Here it's nothing like that. The cause and effect is Krishna. Okay, and any more points? Yeah, so this is how the second canto ends. Like Shukadeva Goswami says that Krishna Katha is everything. Then we enter into third canto. We discuss about Vidura's pilgrimage, how he meets sadhus, and what are the questions he asks. It's very wonderful topic actually, third canto. A lot of Siddhanta is there, a lot of Tattva Siddhanta is there, and so many details are there about Krishna consciousness. Then Maitreya Rishi tells so many, he gives answers to Vidura. Then we have Kapila Muni's pastimes, Devhuti, Kardama, and Kapila Muni's pastimes, and Sankhya Yoga is explained. So that is in third canto. So this is how, Sukadeva Goswami is entering into the Krishna Katha now. Okay. So in first canto, we got all the introduction. In second canto, Sukadeva Goswami is explaining the importance of bhakti. He goes from the karma, jnana, dhyana, and ultimately to bhakti. So second canto is glorification of bhakti, and also what happens when you meditate on universal form Virat Roop, what happens when you meditate on Paramatma, what happens when you do deliberate on Brahman. So he gives all the results we all discussed in previous classes, and ultimately he upholds the glory of bhakti. And that just by hearing Krishna Katha, chanting Krishna Katha, and remembering Krishna Katha, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, we attain the highest goal. That's how the second canto ends. And in third canto, we actually enter into the deep topics of Siddhanta and the pastimes of the Lord. So I will, this is a summary. If anybody have any questions or comments or reflections, want to share something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Prabhu, you said Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, and Maituna. Maituna means what? What is the meaning of Maituna, Prabhu?
No, mating Mataji, like basically.
Okay, understand. Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah, that is a four. These are the four pillars of material life.
Okay.
Yeah, any material activity you can categorize in one of these four categories. Even, and this is natural in animals. Human beings do it very sophisticatedly.
Okay.
Human beings also do the same thing. There is no difference between animal and human. Okay, because animals do the same thing, humans are doing the same thing, so there is no difference. Okay. But our scriptures say that human birth is not meant for that.
Okay.
Our human birth is meant to attain Krishna's lotus feet. It is beyond that. If you compare if you take any animal, its life, and a human being who doesn't have any devotion to the Lord, you compare, it's a similar activities. It is just more sophisticated, that's all. Just do it differently, but the aim is same.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Krishna Katha is so powerful that even when you do self-study also, it purifies. But most importantly, if you hear from a pure devotee directly, it will actually transport you to the realm of the Krishna. That is the power of hearing from pure devotee. Okay. So Krishna Katha from different sources have different effects. When you hear Krishna Katha from the people who don't properly follow the Smritis and Shrutis, then it will not have much effect. Means they give Krishna Katha, but they don't follow that in their personal life, the process of purification, then the listener will not get much benefit. But if it is heard from the lips of pure devotee, then what happens is the same Krishna Katha, when a pure devotee is delivering, the bhakti shakti, in his heart, actually through Shabda Brahma enters into into the heart of the listener. And that quickly elevates the listener actually. If someone just reads all the books on their own, they may not attain the result or the desired result for very, very long time. But when they hear it from a pure devotee, it's instant. It is said that sadhu sanga sarva shastra koe, lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoye. So when you hear even little bit of katha from a pure devotee, then the bhakti shakti from his heart or her heart will enter into the listener's heart, and that will immediately purify that place, and it will elevate the consciousness of the listener, and that place becomes perfect for Krishna to come and do his pastimes or reveal his pastimes in that heart. Yeah. So hearing Krishna Katha from proper source is also very important. We have to see that the one who's speaking Krishna Katha is good in conduct. Yeah. Just want to add that. So anybody have any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, like hearing Krishna Katha, drinking Krishna Katha, what's the difference?
Yeah, it's the same thing. So here, this verse is it's a good question. From this verse is talking about people who are already on the stage of bhava. So previous verse, which I have read yesterday, it is about sadhana, devotees who are doing sadhana. Okay, bhakti is for everybody, everywhere. So it should be done at all times. It is more like sadhana bhakti. That is a process, sadhana. And this one is actually highest stage, which is one who is at the stage of ruchi, ashakti, and so especially rati, bhava. So the one who have bhava, actually they drink the nectar of amrita of Krishna Katha Amritam. They drink. So they relish it. It's like nectar, right? So amritam is nectar. So they drink. That's why it's called Pibanti Bhagavata. Because Bhagavata is it is described as a ripened fruit of all the Vedas. It's ripened fruit of all the Vedas. It is completely juicy. On top of that, it is spoken by Shukadev Goswami. So it becomes even more sweeter. So people who are in a higher stage of devotional service, they drink that nectar. I mean, they relish it. It's so tasty, so sweet, so juicy that they relish it. Okay, that's why it's called Pibanti. Whereas who are in the sadhana stage, they take it as a medicine actually. It's like a medicine. It's not like a constant stream. So it is said that you drink, it's like a nectar. So you drink Bhagavata, you drink the Krishna Katha. So that's how the word is used, described. To drink the nectar of Krishna Katha Amritam.
Got you, Prabhu.
And Bhagavatam is very poetic. So that's why you hear these words, like you read these words, Pibanti, like that. It's very poetic.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so 9:30. Nobody have any questions, then we can wrap up. Tomorrow is Balram Purnima. So it's a appearance day of the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. It's the most auspicious, one of the auspicious days of the year. Balram is Akhanda Guru Tattva, and also is Bhagavan himself, and also is a great devotee. So all in one, Shri Balram Prabhu. Yeah. So we take shelter of Baladev Prabhu, and we attain the lotus feet of Krishna. Okay, so we will stop here. We'll happy Balram Purnima, everybody. We will hopefully see each other in temple tomorrow. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Hare
Hare Krishna.